Pokemon Red, but every Pokemon is Dark type. Pidgey is Dark type, Rapidash is Dark type, and yes, even Alakazam is Dark type. I added the Dark type into my game because, as I'm sure you're all aware, the Dark type is not in Generation 1. In doing so, I've also made Bite a Dark type move because, I mean, it kind of makes sense. And I made Karate Chop Fighting type and Gust Flying type because I wanted to, and you know what? Karate Chop might cause some controversy because of what I do later on in the run, but we're here for a Dark type run. We're edgy, we're different, we're confrontational. Anyways, I'm thinking this run will probably be pretty straightforward all the way through, with maybe the exception of Bruno? I mean, fighting is super effective against Dark, so he might actually put up a fight. I mean, probably not, but I can hope. I don't have a team thought out going into this run, with the exception of one Pokemon I'll get shortly after Pewter City, so take from that what you will. I'm completely unprepared. Go ahead and put your predictions down below on how easy this run will be, and when you finish the video, edit it to match my results so we all think you're really smart. Thank you so much for watching. Let's get into the run. I pick up Bulbasaur for this run and name it Dark. Yeah, I mean, it's a boring name, but I don't intend on keeping this Bulbasaur for very long, just long enough to catch my first team member. That being said, nothing of a note happens between Oak Slab and Brock, so let's just jump straight there. I send out Dark and Brock sends out Geodude. Remember, Geodude and Onix are both mono Dark types, so Grass is no longer super effective and they no longer resist normal. I start by setting up a Leech Seed on Geodude just to heal back a bit if it damages me. And after spamming A, Geodude goes down, Dark levels up and still has 25 HP, so we're looking pretty good going into Onix. Onix outspeeds, which isn't too great, uses Screech, which is okay, and Dark hits with Leech Seed. Onix then hits with Tackle, taking Dark down to half. And I couldn't tell if Leech Seed hit or not, and it did, so I waste a turn. But that's the lowest the Dark's HP will get that fight. After stalling Bides out with Growls and tackling the Onix over and over and over again, Dark knocks out Onix, and we beat Brock. Climbing into Mount Moon, I look for the first member of my team and find it here, a Paris. But I don't have any Pokeballs because I ran through the early game and didn't do my normal route, so I knock out this Paris, start heading back to Pewter to pick up some Pokeballs, run into this optional with the annoying Jigglypuff, buy a Pokeball, go back to Mount Moon, run into 3 Clefairy, 2 Geodude, and 2 Zubat before finally encountering my boy. I catch the level 8 Paris, name him Shade, put Dark up into the PC, and go train Shade up against some of the optionals I skipped earlier. With Shade at level 20 knowing Leech Life now, we finally make it out of Mount Moon and into Cerulean City, and I'm just not going to talk about all the times I fainted in Mount Moon, it's really not important. Let's fight Cerulean Rival! After paralyzing Pidgeotto, it doesn't do much and it goes down in a few hits. Aber goes down in 2 hits, Rattata is another 2 hit, and Charmander is a 4 hit, making Cerulean Rival pretty easy, albeit Shade is at a fairly high level right now. Near the end of Nugget Bridge here, we get our first potential block of the run, this Mankey. It lands a crit Karate Chop that takes Shade all the way down to 4 HP. If it had used Karate Chop twice that battle, I have no doubt whatsoever we would have lost. Thank goodness junior trainers don't have good AI though, so we win. Karate Chop is really scary in this run because of the super effectiveness and its critical hit ratio. It's normally a 50 base power move, but since it's super effective against everything, I mean it might as well be a 100 base power move. And then with the high crit ratio, yeah, it's definitely something to watch out for. After beating this last right by Bill's house, Shade evolves into Parasect. I help Bill with his problems, he gives me a free cruise ticket he won from a telemarketer to call, and we head back to Cerulean because we're a bit over leveled and it's past time to fight Misty. Her lead Staryu barely scratches Shade's HP and Shade takes it down in just a few turns. Starmie is in the same boat, and even after landing nothing but critical hits on Shade, it goes down with no issue. Shade levels up to level 25 and we defeat Misty. Now, like I said, we were over-leveled for that fight, but that will change as soon as I get more of my team filled in, which should be within the next couple of minutes. We head south to Vermilion, board the fancy cruise ship, and take on SSN Rival, where we have our first encounter with Rival's Kadabra. Well, I mean, we saw it earlier as Abra, but it couldn't do anything, so it doesn't count. But I mean, it still can't do anything though, because we're Dark type, and Dark type is completely immune to psychic moves. This is so much fun. Anyways, we beat Rival, nothing special there, go help the seasick captain, get cut, head back up north, and go into Rock Tunnel, where we encounter the second member of our team, Batman the Machop. Yeah, this is where that controversy comes into play since Batman knows Karate Chop and I've changed Karate Chop into fighting type. But hold on, before you turn the video off, we're still really early into the run and I do something later on that makes it feel less like cheating. Besides, this is a dark type run, so cheating is just part of it. Anyways, I train up Batman, I'm sure there's a joke in there somewhere. I train up Batman to level 22 against some of the optional trainers I skipped before Rock Tunnel and North to Cerulean, and it's now time to take on Lieutenant Surge. I of course send out Batman and Lieutenant Surge leads off with a Voltorb. His team is pretty weak defensively and then add super effective Karate Chop on top of that. And yeah, we get 2-1 hits and take Raichu down to a quarter before Raichu hits Batman with a nasty critical Thunder Shock to knock it out. But a scratch from Shade easily finishes off the Raichu and we defeat Lieutenant Surge, earning the Thunder Badge. We also get Thunderbolt from Lieutenant Surge, which I will absolutely be using here shortly. And yes, I was checking to see if Batman could learn Thunderbolt. I figured it couldn't, but I mean it'd be pretty cool. We head back to Rock Tunnel, and you know how these Pokemaniacs Slowpoke were terrible to deal with in my last run on the channel? Yeah, they're a breeze now. Confusion can't touch us, and their other attacks aren't near as worrisome, so yeah, they were almost refreshing this time. Making our way out of Rock Tunnel, I do my part in the local economy by selling some stuff, and then head up to Pokemon Tower to fight Rival, because the floor above the people paying their respects is a perfect place for a battle. Pidgeotto is out first, of course, and goes down in 2 after a gust. Execute goes down in 2, and Gyarados lands a Dragon Rage because, of course, it does. Batman does about a third with Karate Chop, so I swap into Shade and take out Gyarados after it lands just a single Dragon Rage. Kadabra can't do anything to us, which is so great, so it's easy, and Charmeleon starts spamming Growl, cutting Shade's attack down, so instead of playing it safe and doing chip damage, we're Dark type and edgy and swap into Batman to finish off Charmeleon with a critical Karate Chop. And after the fight, Shade levels up to level 30, learning Spore, which you better believe we're using. After beating Rival, I head over to Celadon, pick up the Pokédoll, a Thunderstone, a Freshwater, and yes, I go get Eevee, name it Star, and evolve it into Jolteon. Now the reason I chose Jolteon is because it learns Pin Missile, but, well, you'll see. I go ahead and teach it Thunderbolt because it's a great move, and we head back to Pokemon Tower to clear out Team Rocket, rescuing Mr. Fuji and earning the Pokeflute. And on our way back to Celadon to fight Erica, I fight this rando with Batman who evolves into Machoke. And then I forgot about Erica completely, and we go to Silph instead, where I see Machoke's back sprite for the first time in years, and I forgot how glorious his mullet is. Truly a work of art. Moving on to Silph Rival, we put his Pidgey out to sleep with Shade Spore, and it does wake up eventually, but doesn't do much and we knock it out. We outspeed the Execute and put it to sleep, knocking it out. Gyarados is out next, perpetually Rival's scariest Pokemon, and we manage to paralyze it before it knocks Shade out. But I send Batman out and it knocks out the scary Gyarados with just 2 crit Karate Chops. Next out is Alakazam, which has been trouble in the past, but now it can't do anything to us at all, so it's an easy knockout. Charizard gets hit for half by Batman, but then hits back with a massive critical slash, taking Batman out. We're down to Star, but it's no problem for her, and she takes out Charizard with a couple of Thunderbolts, earning us the win over Silph Rival. It's now time to stop Giovanni. He sends out Nidorino and I send out Star. Star's Thunderbolt is a 2-hit on Nidorino, which gets a pretty good horn attack off, taking Star down to just over half health. Kangaskhan is a 2-hit, only hitting us with a Rage. Rhyhorn is a 2-hit, getting a Tail Whip off. And Nidoqueen is a 4-hit, but it does absolutely nothing, and Giovanni just kinda lets us win. And I'm fine with that. It's probably because we're so intimidating and dark and mysterious and edgy. I leave Silph and I decide on something that I referenced earlier. I'm boxing Batman. He's just way too strong with Karate Chop always being super effective, his massive attack stat, and that critical hit ratio. So instead I'm getting a Pokemon I think I've only used once on this channel before, and you can probably guess from where I'm at who I'm getting. That's right, I get Hitmonlee from the Fighting Dojo and name it Low Kicks. Now I know what you're saying. Sokyo, how does this change anything? Hitmonlee is a great fighting type and you're pretty much just benching a great fighting type and replacing it with a different great fighting type. Well, here's my reason. Yes, Hitmonlee is strong and comes with a built-in badge boost boon with Meditate. But it's in the base Gen 1 game and remains unchanged in this run, apart from being Dark type. Fighting type Karate Chop is not in the base game, and the more I think about it, the less it makes sense to change that move's typing. But I really kind of like Karate Chop being super effective against my team because it adds that extra little bit of challenge and kind of presents what could have been aspect to this run if some of the type and move balancing addressed in Gen 2 was addressed earlier in Gen 1. So because I struggle with indecision on a daily basis, I'm simply choosing to not use the broken move but still allow the AI to use it to make the run just that little bit more difficult. So in picking up Low Kicks, we have our final team to carry us through the rest of this run. Shade the Parasect, Star the Jolteon, and Low Kicks the Hitmonlee. And then I remember that I haven't beaten Erica yet, so yeah, I go do that. She sends out Victory Bell and I send out Low Kicks and immediately start setting up Meditate. Victory Bell manages to get a Poison Powder off but misses a Wrap, and Double Kick takes it, Tangela, and Vileplume out in 2 hits each, earning us the Rainbow Badge. Stealing a bike to get onto Cycling Road because we're Dark type, we come down to Fuchsia and immediately take on the trainers in Koga's gym, because you know what? Most of them are Psychic types like Kadabra, Drowsy, and Hypno and can't really do much to us. And after fighting all his trainers, let's take on the Ninja Master Koga. Shade puts his first Coughing to sleep, but it wakes up after a few turns. I try to put it back to sleep, but it wakes up immediately, and I decide to just fight it and knock it out after a few turns. Koga sends out Muck, and I send out Star since Shade got hit with a smoke screen. Muck only manages to poison Star before going down, and to avoid damage over time, I swap into Low Kicks on Coughing. Low Kicks gets 2 Meditate before taking Coughing out in a 2-hit, and we're down to Koga's Ace. I set up one last Meditate and Wheezing hits a Sludge that does really good damage and poisons. Low Kick's Double Kick doesn't do enough, but neither does Wheezing Sludge, and Low Kick's hits with a Swag Rolling Kick to finish off the Wheezing and beat Koga, earning us the Soul Badge and the TM for Toxic, which I go ahead and teach to Shade over Stun Spore. Easily competing Koga's gym, let's head back to Saffron and tackle Sabrina's gym. And you know what, I'm not even going to do the whole transition intro thing, we already know how easy this is going to be, so let's just jump into it. Kadabra is a 3-hit, Mr. Mime's a 3-hit with some Double Slap thrown in there, Venomoth is a 3-hit with a couple of Leech Life thrown in, and for Alakazam, it can't do anything at all except recover, so I spell Tail Whip, and, well, OHKO it with this quick attack. Oh, okay, well. No, not a critical, no. Stop getting criticals. Yes! We did it. I mean, yeah, I could have swapped it to Low Kicks on the Alakazam, but where's the fun in that? I mean, come on. And speaking of fun, let's take on Blaine. Growlithe is a 1-hit, going down to Low Kicks' Jump Kick. I set up a couple of Meditates on Ponyta, and it goes down in 1. Rapidash goes down in 1. Arcanine would have gone down in 1 had it not been for that crit, but it misses a takedown, and the next Jump Kick takes it out nicely, earning us the Volcano Badge. And we're almost done with the gym run, just 1 left. Giovanni sends out Rhyhorn and I send out Star, and Thunderbolt crits, knocking Rhyhorn out in 1. And Star learns Double Kick. I forgot it learns this move, so now I have no need for Pin Missile, which is great because that move is kind of garbage. Anyways, Dugtrio goes down in 2 kicks, Nidoqueen is a 3-hit, hanging on by a sliver with that low damage roll. Nidoking is also a 3-hit, and I swap into Shade for Rhydon, put a Toxic on it, and chip away at it until it goes down. And with that, we've beaten Giovanni in all the gyms. This run is going so much faster than all my other runs. Let's see if we can keep the momentum going through this next rival fight. Rival sends out Pidgeot and I send out Low Kicks. Pidgeot is not scary at all, so I set up 6 Meditate and attempt the dreaded Low Kick sweep. Pidgeot goes down in 1 hit, Rhyhorn goes down in 1, Execute goes down in 1, we get an unlucky crit on Gyarados and it almost takes Low Kicks out with a Hydro Pump, but goes down next turn. I don't learn Focus Energy, Alakazam can't do anything, but since we leveled up, Charizard now outspeeds and knocks Low Kicks out with Rage. What a low blow. I send out Shade to go up against his arch nemesis and get a Toxic to out-chip damage it, which we do, getting us yet another win against Rival. Now moving on to the Elite Four, I don't anticipate having really any issues. We are pretty low level, but Lorelei shouldn't be too bad, just a matter of not getting frozen. Bruno won't be bad as long as he doesn't use good moves. Agatha has low defense, so as long as there's no confusion shenanigans, we should be good. And Lance is Lance, just outdamages Gyarados, and the rest should be fine. And Champion is just a higher level rival that we just faced, so no problems there. Alright, let's see if we can finish this run out. Lorelei's up first as she sends out Dugong to my Star. I go for a Thunderbolt just to get some damage off so it can use Rest next turn, and it hits with a Aurora Beam, lowering Star's attack, no biggie there. Next turn I start going for Agility, and Dugong goes for, not Rest, but Growl. Well maybe next turn. Another Agility, and Dugong uses Takedown, it's not using Rest. And guess what? It won't use Rest. And some of you may have guessed why already. Rest is a psychic type move, and Lorelei's good AI won't let Dugong use it. Okay, no big deal. We knock out the Dugong after it does some pretty good damage to Star. Cloyster is out next, and the level disparity shows here when Star's badge boosted Thunderbolt does a third to it. Cloyster goes for Clamp, but Star hangs on with 4 HP and gets another Thunderbolt off, taking Cloyster down to a third health, but another Clamp finishes Star off. Yeah, not looking too great right now. I send out Shade and attempt to Spore, but Cloyster uses Clamp again, locking Shade down for a few turns. Tries Spore again? Cloyster lands a crit Aurora Beam, but Shade survives and we get the Spore. And now let's just chip damage Leech Life to restore some health, and we knock out Cloyster. 2 down, 3 to go. Slowbro's out next. It wakes up immediately from a Spore, but then stays asleep next turn, so I try to heal a bit more, but Leech Life does almost nothing to it. Slash? Slash crits and takes it to above half, and Slowbro wakes up. Alright, time to poison. Shade gets a Toxic off, and Slowbro plays nice using Growl twice and Withdraw, allowing Shade to knock it out. Jinx comes out and Ice Punches Shade down to 20 HP, but Shade stays unfrozen and hits with a Spore. Jinx wakes up after her turn, however, and Thrash makes quick work of Shade. Alright, up to low kicks. Thrash takes low kicks down to 69, but jump kick knocks out the Jinx. Alright, Lapras versus low kicks. I start setting up Meditate, but Lapras lands a Hydro Pump, knocking out low kicks. Well, yeah, that's on me. We're definitely not at a good level yet. But that doesn't stop me from trying again. I try paralyzing the Dugong this time just to see if that helps out any. And I mean, I'm sure it would eventually, but this battle, it didn't really change anything. Dugong goes down and Cloyster is out. We paralyze Cloyster immediately and Cloyster knocks Star out before it can do too much. I send out Shade here and then realize that that was a mistake because of Cloyster's high defense and swap into low kicks. Luckily, Cloyster's Clamp misses. Okay, let's start setting up. I get 4 Meditate off before I feel like we need to start doing damage, and Cloyster goes down to a jump kick. We might just do this. Slowbro comes out and goes down in 2 kicks after an unfortunate crash into the wall. Jinx is a great one-shot, so we don't have to worry about that, and that just leaves Lapras. We level up, which is okay, but we get a critical and do just under half. Lapras goes for a Blizzard, but misses, yes, and jump kick finishes off Lapras. We are through Lorelei. Maybe this is in fact possible at this level. Bruno is up next, and I send out Star to take advantage of Bruno's Pokemon's low special. Testing the waters, Onix is almost a one-hit, hangs on and hits with a Rage, but goes down next turn. In hindsight, I should have set up against Onix, but oh well, it's just Bruno. Hitmonchan is a one-hit with a crit, which mattered, and Hitmonlee takes major damage and gets paralyzed, but hits with a critical high jump kick, knocking out Star. Yeah, this is the Bruno that I was afraid of. I send out low kicks to deal with the weak Hitmonlee, and I set up against Bruno's second Onix a little bit. It's a 2-hit, which isn't great, but maybe we'll get lucky against Machamp. Jump kick almost knocks it out, but it misses with submission, which easily would have knocked us out, and low kick lands the last jump kick, getting us the first try win over Bruno. Facing off against Agatha next, the strategy is to use Shade and out-troll her, which I hope is possible. Gengar starts off with a Confuse Ray, but Shade hits with Spore anyways, putting Gengar to sleep. But it immediately wakes up. Slash is doing about a third, which isn't too terrible, and after some super luck on our part with Gengar missing Hypnosises and going for Dream Eater, Gengar goes down in a few slashes. Golbat comes out and confuses Shade again with a Supersonic, and Shade doesn't hit itself, but misses the Toxic. Golbat then wastes its next 2 moves, still confusing Shade, which finally gets the Toxic off. Golbat doesn't do much else to us as it lets us take it out with Toxic and a few slashes. Haunter attempts to put Shade to sleep, but Shade dodges out of the way and uses Spore, putting Haunter to sleep instead. Leech Life is doing good damage to Haunter, which finally wakes up and puts Shade to sleep. But it just tries to use Dream Eater, which is a psychic move, so it does nothing. Twice. And Shade wakes up and knocks it out. Arbok comes out and we just outdamage it with Slash, and finally Agatha sends out her last Gengar. It goes for Dream Eater, I love Agatha's not good AI, and Spore connects, putting Gengar to sleep. We Leech Life out of Nightshade KO range before Gengar can wake up. It finally does and uses Toxic, so we're now on a time limit with Shade. Leech Life isn't doing enough to knock it out, and Agatha heals with a couple of Super Potions. Gengar then manages to confuse Shade, which is a little scary having Confusion and Toxic going, but Gengar just doesn't want to play the game. Shade hits through Confusion and knocks Gengar out with a final Slash, getting us the win over Agatha. What a ride. And after beating Agatha, I decide to go ahead and use the rare candies in my bag. Might as well since I'm going to reset anyways if I lose. With those, Shade gets to level 48, and Low Kicks and Star both get to level 49. Let's take on Lance. Lance sends out Gyarados and goes for Hydro Pump right off the bat, but misses and Shade hits with a Spore. But Gyarados wakes up immediately, great. Critical Slash is doing about a quarter to Gyarados and we put it back to sleep, but it immediately wakes up again, of course it does, and Slash takes it down to just under half. It finally hits with Hydro Pump, taking Shade down to half, and Toxic hits, so it's only a matter of time now. Luckily, Gyarados plays nice and doesn't do anything else, allowing for an easy KO. Dragonair is out next, and it chose Violence, going for a turn 1 Hyper Beam, taking Shade down pretty low. Spore connects, but it only stays asleep 2 turns before waking up and knocking out Shade with a Slam. I send Low Kicks out to counter the aggressive Dragonair instead of a Meditate before knocking it out with a high jump kick. The next Dragonair is a one-shot, Aerodactyl is a one-shot after missed Supersonic, and Low Kicks crits on Dragonite, taking it down to just under a quarter before going down to a massive Slam. There's just a sliver left though, surely Star can do it. Thunderbolt just doesn't do enough though, and Lance heals with a Hyper Potion. Oh boy. Going for Thunder Wave to hopefully stall it out, but Dragonite lands with a Hyper Beam, knocking out Star, resetting the run. Now, some of you may have noticed that Lance's Pokemon seemed oddly aggressive, using mostly offensive moves. Well, that's because he, like Lorelei, has Pokemon that know Psychic type moves, and since he has good AI, he will never use those Psychic type moves. In fact, Dragonite knows 2 Psychic type moves, Barrier and Agility. That leaves just Slam and Hyper Beam. That means Lance's Dragonite will always use either Slam or Hyper Beam on every turn, unless of course Lance is healing, which is also bad. Yeah, I figured this run was gonna come to a screeching halt at some point. So at this point, my team structure is fine. We made it past the first 3 Elite Four members relatively easy, but being almost 15 levels under Lance's Dragonite is not great for survivability, so I go level up a bit. Shade and Star are now level 48, and Low Kicks is level 47 going to Elite Four. And that's about the level they were when we got to Lance in the last run, so maybe they'll be high enough when we get to them this time. I'm not going to show Lorelei, Bruno, and Agatha again. I used the same winning strategies from before, and as you can imagine, being a higher level just made it easier. After the Agatha fight, I use all my rare candies again, getting the whole team up to level 52. Alright, let's rematch Lance. I lead off with Star because she has the highest special, but after paralyzing the Gyarados, it hits with a crit Hydro Pump, taking Star under half health. That does not bode well. Star gets it down pretty low without Gyarados doing much, but Lance heals it back with a Hyper Potion. Star gets it back down to low health, but Gyarados hits with another Hydro Pump, taking out Star. Gyarados is paralyzed, so Shade can't do too much other than chip damage, so I send out Low Kicks. Low Kicks gets 2 Meditates off before Gyarados hits with a Hydro Pump, taking Low Kicks down to under half. Jump Kick knocks the Gyarados out, but do we have enough health for the rest of the battle? Jump Kick one-hits both of Lance's Dragonites, and next up is Aerodactyl. Do we outspeed? No, I didn't think we would, and Low Kicks goes down to Hyper Beam. It's all up to Shade. Supersonic misses and Shade puts Aerodactyl to sleep, and it stays asleep for 4 rounds, allowing Shade to take it out. Dragonite time. It hits with Slam, doing about a third, and Spore lands, please stay asleep. But of course it wakes up, and Leech Life does almost nothing. Dragonite hits with Hyper Beam, knocking out Shade. Somehow we did worse that time. After 3 failed attempts, I do something I haven't done before. Instead of resetting back to before Lorelei, I keep the levels gained in the Elite Four. I don't have as many power point restoring items and I have no rare candies left, but I'm not lacking on available power points too bad, and the levels gained are super beneficial here, especially since I don't have many more trainers to fight in the overworld. I'm not going to show off those other failed attempts. 2 of them were at Lorelei, if you can believe it, and I lost in a way that can only be described as all of the bad luck in the run building up to that one point in time. If you want to see that, along with some of my other full challenge runs, I upload those to my full challenge run playlist. Anyways, let's get back to Lance. And this time I'm embracing my true inner dark type. This is probably something some of you have been yelling at me to do through the screen this whole time. It's risky, but if it works, it's a sure win. I send out Shade and Lance sends out Gyarados, which hits with a turn 1 Hyper Beam, taking Shade down to 69. But Shade counters with a Spore. Please stay asleep. I swap into Low Kicks and Gyarados stays asleep. Okay, good. I was mainly worried about the swap. Now it's time. I get 3 Meditates off before Gyarados wakes up and uses Leer, which just badge boosts Low Kick's attack and speed even higher. With Gyarados awake, I can't risk any more setup. Let's attempt the sweep. Gyarados is a 1-hit, Dragonair 1 and 2 are both 1-hits. We outspeed Aerodactyl and it's a 1-hit, and Dragonite, we land the swag high jump kick and it's a 1-hit. Let's go. Lance is finally down. So here we are. Champion battle. Let's finish this out. I send out Star and Rival sends out Pidgeot. Star gets set up with 3 agilities before Pidgeot lands a Sky Attack doing about a third. But it's not near enough and Star 2-hits Pidgeot with Thunderbolt. And out comes Alakazam. This is a Dark type run, which means cheap tactics are what it's all about. I send out Low Kicks and spam Meditate because Alakazam can't do anything about it. I don't even count the meditates. I just wait for the nothing happened message. Oh, I'm a horrible person. We get set up all the way and Alakazam is a 1-hit. Rhydon is a 1-hit. Executor is a 1-hit. We level up, but our attack is still fine. Gyarados is a 1-hit. Charizard, oh, we don't outspeed, and it hits with Fire Blast, actually doing quite a bit to Low Kicks. But it doesn't matter because we get the swag high jump kick off, and it's a 1-hit. And with that, Champion is down, and we've beaten Pokemon Red, but everything is Dark type. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I did. This one was a blast to make. I loved it. And part of that, I think, was finally getting revenge on the Abra line for all the grief it gives fighting type Pokemon. Shoutouts to Low Kicks the Hitmonlee. What an absolute beast for taking down the Alakazam. But really, this run was so much fun. Some closing thoughts. I think one of the reasons this run was so easy is because Dark's weakness to fighting. I mean, everything has weaknesses, but fighting types have such good synergy in Generation 1 between their high base power moves and their naturally high attack stat. Combine that with stuff like Low Kick's Meditate or Batman's high critical hit ratio Karate Chop, and the run is just absolutely broken. Fighting type's one weakness is their low special stat, but Dark doesn't have any special weaknesses, well, before Gen 6, so we didn't really have to worry about that too much. Ranking this on my super sophisticated and scientifically sound scale of difficulty, I rank Dark type only under Electric. Yes, really, it was that easy. And in putting it down this low, I'm moving the other types up just a little bit in difficulty. I'll, of course, need to do this as I complete more of these runs just to scale it appropriately. Thank you again so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this video. It really does help out the channel. Up next in this duo of series, I'll be tackling Pokemon Red, but every move is Bug type, submitted by North Dakota Gamer. I'm excited for this one for 2 reasons. For one, we think it'll be easy for the most part, which is great because I love not having a bad time. And 2, it's going to be so nice having decently powerful Bug type moves in Generation 1. Erica's Gym is going to be an absolute breeze. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that one when it goes live. Again, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time.